Have you ever heard the expression drinking the Kool-Aid? Have you ever used the expression drinking the Kool-Aid? It seems to have two contradictory meanings. When I say, I drank the Aztec Kool-Aid, I'm saying I'm a big fan of the SDSU Aztecs. That's kind of positive. There's nothing wrong with that. But when I say the Democrats drank the healthcare Kool-Aid, actually, could I restart?
I like where you're going with this.
Okay, great. Have you ever heard the expression drinking the Kool-Aid? Have you ever used the expression drinking the Kool-Aid? It seems to have two contradictory meanings. When I say I drank the Aztec Kool-Aid, I'm saying I'm a big fan of the SDSU Aztecs. There's nothing wrong with that, right? We're all sports fans of one sort or another. But when I say that the Democrats drank the healthcare Kool-Aid, or the Republicans drank the tax cut Kool-Aid, I'm suggesting that they're mindless idiots following their leaders. Politicians frequently use the Kool-Aid metaphor to criticize unthinking party loyalty. You really were fooled, weren't you? Or you really were a fool to think that. But where did this expression come from? Most people at the age of 30 don't know its origins. What I'd like to do in this brief talk is to put drinking the Kool-Aid in its historical and religious context. To do so means introducing one of California's most infamous religious communes, namely People's Temple. Let me start at the end of the story, which is where most people begin. People's Temple was a multiracial religious group that flourished in California in the 1970s. A large number of its members, about 1,000, moved to the South American country of Guyana and established an agricultural commune there called Jonestown. People's Temple and Jonestown came to public attention on November 18, 1978, when several terrible things happened. First, following a visit to Jonestown, a U.S. congressman was assassinated by members of People's Temple. 3 reporters were also murdered at that time. Second, a member of the group killed her 3 children and herself by cutting their throats. And finally, more than 900 men, women, and children died in a murder-suicide ritual by ingesting poison. The poison was potassium cyanide. This was mixed into a fruit punch called Flavor Aid. Now, Flavor Aid is the British equivalent of Kool-Aid. In a nutshell, they drank the Kool-Aid and died. This brief summary doesn't really say very much about People's Temple and its members at all. Most of the news coverage at that time focused on the leader, Jim Jones, and the efforts to repatriate the bodies of 900 citizens. But who were these people? Why did they join? Were they forced to drink the Kool-Aid? The events in Jonestown raise many more questions than answers. I'd like to make just a few points about People's Temple in particular and about religious communes in California in general. First, we cannot understand People's Temple or any religious group apart from its historical and cultural context. We need to look at the social location of the group and of its members. Although People's Temple began in Indianapolis, Indiana in the 1950s, its members moved to Northern California in the mid-1960s. And in 1972, they moved their headquarters from Ukiah, California to San Francisco. Now let's think about what's happening in the US and the world during the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. We see anti-racism movements, we see anti-apartheid movements, we see anti-colonialism movements throughout the world, and especially in the US. So the members of People's Temple were drawn to that group because it too was involved in a number of activist programs for social justice, racial equality, economic justice, and so on. Those events that are happening outside the religious group are shaping what's happening within the group. So when we look at this historical context, we can begin to understand why some people were drawn to the mission of People's Temple, but other people were not drawn to it.